The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, we have a recap of Mayor Paul Coogan's 6th State of the City address. In the face of changes in Washington, Congressman Auchincloss hosts a question and answer session in Fall River. And beginning this fall, Bristol Community College will offer a degree in artificial intelligence. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, March 13th, 2025. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan delivered his 6th State of the City address before a joint meeting of the City Council and School Committee Tuesday evening. The 30-minute speech focused on promoting his administration's accomplishments since taking office in 2020. The mayor started by sharing how the city has made strides in stabilizing its fiscal health.
Since I took office in 2020, we have seen our stabilization fund increase by $24 million, while our credit rating remains stable at A3. Our new growth for FY25 is approximately $3.6 million, which is an increase over FY24 of over $700,000. This increase is due to the realization of additional growth in residential, commercial, and personal property. This will help distribute the tax burden, thereby benefiting existing Fall River taxpayers. Thanks to the dedicated staff and our consistent collection efforts, the City of Fall River has the lowest rate of uncollected revenues of all similarly sized cities in Massachusetts.
The mayor pointed to the expansion of staff and services within the Fire and Emergency Medical Services Department and paid special attention to the police department's work recruiting officers and fighting crime.
Recruitment and retention are a challenge. In 2024, a total of 13 new officers joined the ranks, with another 18 starting in the police academy by April. To further promote recruitment efforts, the FRPD has opted into the new hybrid civil service reforms, which allow hiring of up to 50% of our new officers from a department-specific list, rather than relying on civil service testing. We have recently received over 185 new applicants for police positions in the City of Fall River. This year, under Interim Chief Furtado's leadership, we have seen organizational reform in the police department with the creation of the NEAT and CAS units. These units were formed to specifically address gang violence, drug dealing, and illegal firearm possession. Since November of 24, these teams combined have made 187 arrests. They've seized 12 illegal firearms and removed large quantities of fentanyl and crack cocaine from our streets. These teams have significantly upgraded the police department's ability to attack crime and enhance the quality of life in Fall River neighborhoods. We've also seen a 24% decrease in violent crime from 2023.
On education, the mayor says Fall River is one of the few communities to see an increase in enrollment, resulting in the need to improve and expand services.
Our student enrollment is growing on a daily basis, which means our students' needs continue to change. Our preschool program is able to serve 600 children. In addition, the Fall River Public Schools are partnering with Head Start and People Inc. through the Commonwealth's Preschool Partnership Initiative to provide access, special education services, and consultation support to our students. As a district, we strive to continue to improve and expand access to our pre-K programs. The school department saw an increase in the percentage of teachers retained from 23 to 24 of 3%, and a new collective bargaining agreement coupled with recruitment efforts, including job fairs, agreements with local colleges and universities, and expanding our partnership with local teacher preparation programs will help us to continue this trend over the next 3 years.
The mayor predicted the launch of South Coast Rail this month, the development along Route 79 and Duval Street once reconstruction is complete, and the revitalization of the Flint neighborhood. Fall River will be primed for economic development growth. In the meantime, Fall River remains competitive in working with companies to expand and create new jobs.
Fall River's current unemployment rate is 6.1%, still too high. The city continues to see business expansion, new business openings, and the creation of jobs at all skill levels. The Fall River Redevelopment Authority closed on the sale of 76 acres of land in the South Coast Technology Park to Vitas, who envisions constructing 4 industrial buildings totaling approximately 900,000 square feet and creating 225 new full-time jobs. Gold Medal Bakery, a 112-year-old family business under 4th-generation leadership, continues to expand after purchasing an 80,000 square foot commercial property on Commerce Drive. Gold Medal plans to make a substantial investment in developing this property to create new production capabilities and, of course, new jobs. And Invigen Pharmaceuticals, one of India's largest drug manufacturers, has already invested $5.7 million in their 927 Current Road facility. They're now leasing a newly constructed building and investing $20 million more to create manufacturing, warehouse, research, and developmental facility.
Mayor Coogan said the city continues to work on reducing the number of homeless, connecting those with substance abuse or mental health disorders with support. He also said Fall River is doing more to create affordable housing.
The City of Fall River, in partnership with the Community Development Agency, whose primary objective is to provide the city with affordable housing, has committed to 11 affordable housing projects in various stages of development. A few of the projects on the list are the former St. Louis School, a property on Rock Street, and the former Notre Dame Rectory on Eastern Avenue. When these projects are completed, there will be 113 new affordable units that will be added to our housing stock. Other development projects are in the works on Linden Street, Elm Street, LeBaron, and Durfee, just to name a few. The development is revitalizing former schools, mills, and vacant properties that would otherwise sit abandoned. In addition, the Flint revitalization project is underway with 4 projects being identified for rehabilitation on Pleasant Street.
The mayor also renewed his commitment to supporting and funding improvements to streets, sidewalks, parks, and the city's water and sewer systems. In his address, the mayor referenced unemployment. The state has released the local jobless numbers for January, and Fall River has seen a dramatic increase in those seeking work. Fall River's unemployment rate for January is 7.7%, up 2.1% from December. The rate for January 2024 was 6.4%. State officials say Fall River saw an influx of new individuals entering the workforce, which translated to more people not yet finding work. Comparable gateway cities also saw an increase in unemployment. Statewide in January, the jobless rate inched up 0.1% to 4.2%. Preparation for the FY 2026 budget cycle for the city of Fall River is underway, led by the submission this week of budgets for the water and sewer departments. The proposed water department budget is set at $16.8 million, while the sewer department is just under $33 million. Officials are asking that rates for water and sewer usage increase by 5%. Water rates will increase from $4.36 per 100 cubic feet to $4.58. The sewer fee will increase from $8.11 to $8.51. Industrial sewer users will see rates rise from $3.87 to $4.06. The city's yearly stormwater fee will remain unchanged at $200. The base meter fee, based on size, will also stay unchanged.
What we look at is all of our expenses. That's the first thing that we do. We sit down with our team and we build our expense side of our budget. Look at what it's going to cost us to run. So our chemical cost, electrical cost, operations cost, employee cost, and we put all that together. Then we take that and we look at the revenue sides after that. So what kind of revenue does it take to support those expenses? With that, that's where we come out with the rate.
Making sure the city's water is safe and clean and sewage is treated environmentally is only part of what the department oversees. They also use the funds to upgrade aging infrastructure.
One thing that we've been working on for 20 plus years is replacement of old tuberculated water mains. We had about 100 miles of them, 120 miles throughout the city, and we're still working to replace those. Those were typically installed in the 1870s. So we're pulling out water mains out of the roadway that have been in service for over 150 years, that are not in a state where they should still be in service, and we're replacing those. So that's one thing that we see throughout the system. Other projects that we see are required by federal mandates, whether it be improvements and reductions in our CSO discharge, increased sewer separation, or projects in relation to the MS4 permit, which governs all of our stormwater discharges within the urbanized city.
The City Council still needs to approve the budget and proposed new rate structure, which would take effect on July 1st. Dozens of residents from the 4th Congressional District, which includes Fall River, participated in a Q&A session with Congressman Auchincloss at Derby High School last Saturday afternoon. The Congressman spent an hour taking questions from over 20 constituents, mainly focusing on the uncertainties created by executive orders and policies initiated by President Donald Trump during his first month in office. Regardless of what's taking place in Washington, Congressman Auchincloss told the crowd he's committed to protecting the values he deems important to his district.
I think that here in the Massachusetts 4th, from Fall River to Brookline, we believe in the rule of law, not the law of the ruler. Massachusetts is approaching its 250th celebration of Lexington and Concord. We here in the Bay State, we don't like kings, we don't like presidents who think like they're kings, and we're going to fight back against imperial overreach. I think we believe here in the Massachusetts 4th in science and in merit and in evidence-based policy, not in corruption or nepotism or favoritism or oligarchy. And so we're going to fight back against the politicization of the civil service. We're going to fight back against the trouncing of career scientists or other expert policymakers who want to be able to deliver government services or write regulations without fear or favor, but based on what's best for Americans. Do they always get it right? Of course they don't always get it right. No bureaucracy is perfect. Is there waste, fraud, and abuse in every bureaucracy? Of course there is. But what is being done right now is not saving anybody any money.
Among the Congressman's priorities is protecting services that benefit many Americans. He said we'd also fight against a proposal to close the Social Security office in Fall River, claiming accusations of widespread fraud within the department is unfounded.
Yes, the database has many people in it with Social Security numbers who are deceased. Those people are not getting benefits. And in fact, Social Security is a pretty lean and well-run program. Again, any big federal program, can you find instances of waste, fraud, and abuse? Yes, you can. Should we tackle them? Of course we should. But in general, this is actually a program that is one of the better run federal programs, and people, of course, really count on their Social Security checks. It's not an entitlement, it's an earned benefit. People paid into it to get out of it. And my concern about this is actually not the lies that he said, it's the kernel of truth within the lies, because the kernel of truth is the Republicans want to privatize Social Security. They tried to do it during George W. Bush. Democrats fought back, and we stopped him from doing it. But he's now it's the same crowd coming back around with their MAGA hats on, but they're going to try to privatize Social Security yet again under the guise of there's so much waste, fraud, and abuse that we need the corporations to do it. And yet again, Democrats are going to fight back. We are going to stop that from happening.
Congressman Auchincloss was asked whether he would moderate his views, given that Fall River and many other communities in Bristol County supported President Trump in last year's election. He said he wants to work in a bipartisan manner with Republicans on many issues, including paying for tax cuts. But so far, the other side is not willing to negotiate, instead seeking cuts that will negatively impact millions of Americans.
Donald Trump said, I need $4.5 trillion because I got to hook up my buddies with tax cuts. Find me that money. And the only place in the federal budget where there's enough money to pay for those tax cuts, if you're not going to touch the military, which he doesn't want to do, if you're not going to touch Social Security or Medicare, which he's saying right now he doesn't want to do, is Medicaid. It's just math. I said to Republicans repeatedly, privately and publicly, if you want to just extend the tax cuts for the middle class, we'll work with you on that. And we'll work with you on pay-fors for it as well. That would lower the cost of the bill by 2/3. We'd extend, the raise in the standard deductible and the tax cuts that have saved the middle class, $1,000 to $2,000 a year on average. But we're not going to be behind a bill that gives 80% of the benefits to people making more than $1 million a year. There's just no world in which that makes sense for the United States right now at a time when income inequality is already one of our great challenges. So I am ready to moderate my views, but I need people on the other side who are ready to moderate theirs.
Congressman Auchincloss said despite the reaction of some Democrats over President Trump's first month in office, he does not feel the country is in a constitutional crisis. He remains concerned that misinformation and disinformation have overshadowed the truth for many Americans.
I think there's a much deeper reservoir of common sense and decency in the American public than we give ourselves credit for, actually. I think about 70% of Americans are right there between the 40-yard lines. But instead, we just hear the incessant howls of outrage on social media and cable news, and it makes us think we disagree a lot more than we actually do. And in the long run, I think that means that we have to re-architect how we think about where we get our facts from. Because especially since the year about 2010, social media has come to just dominate how people get their news. And it is not doing us any favors. It's corroding our civil discourse. It's making our kids miserable.
Time once again to check in with the latest real estate and economic development news in Fall River. I am joined, as I am weekly, by Kevin Lawrence, who is the owner, publisher, and editor of Fall River Development News, which you can find on Facebook. Kevin, how are you?
Very well. Glad to be here, Keith.
All right, let's start with some housing news. There is a new apartment development that is coming up in the Flint that will soon be finished. Talk about what's happening on Alden Street.
This is at 69R Alden Street. This is in the rear of the Curtin Lofts Senior Complex. A total of 16 new market rate apartment units are coming online. It's located on a 1.3 acre parcel. If you're an old Fall Riverite like myself, you may remember that it once housed Parker's Candy. Parker's Candy, that mill was destroyed in a fire about 15 years ago. The land was sold, and now it's being redeveloped into market rate housing. I did the story on the Fall River Development News page. It got quite a few comments because of the proximity to each residential unit. It's a very tight-fitting market rate housing complex. It's a single story complex. It's not multiple stories, but there's 16 of these apartment units back to back. Kind of looks like a motel if you were to look at it from high in the sky.
Yeah, I know. We showed the photos, but you're right. Everything's stacked together. I mean, parking must be on the perimeter because it looks like everything's sort of centrally located there. Anyway,
it's a snug fit, and we got a lot of comments about it on the page.
Yeah. All right, let's move on now to a location that many of us know, 101 President Avenue. It's known as the Boardwalk Crossing. However, we always reference it as where Almax is, Almax Diner. There's some open spaces there, and there's going to be a new tenant coming in soon, providing some sort of business services.
Yeah, it's called Joy Services. They are now inside the plaza at 101 President Avenue. They have a business center, and they offer a wide range of services, including mailbox rentals, worldwide shipping, workspace options, copy, print, tax assistance, immigration preparation, and real estate service, all under one roof, kind of a jack of all trades. It's Joy Services, and I believe they have officially just opened up.
Yeah. And while there's a new tenant at 101 President Avenue, there's one leaving. Burn Boot Camp is moving to a new location.
A long-time tenant. They've been there for the last 7 years. Burn Boot Camp, 101 President Avenue. They're in the rear of the plaza, kind of near the new train depot. They are moving to the Fall River Shopping Center on 51 Mariano Bishop Boulevard in the south end of the city. So they're not leaving. That's a good thing. They currently occupy in the Boardwalk Crossing Plaza about 4,100 square feet of space. Their new facility will be about 7,700 square feet. And they're planning, from what they say, to open up in the next 8 to 12 weeks. And they posted this on their Facebook page saying it was time to expand because the current location was beginning to feel inadequate to serve the needs of our amazing member community. So we wish them luck in their new larger facility, which they should be in the next couple of months.
All right. And as always, we like to put in a restaurant news of sort. Many of you may have seen a pizza location on the corner of Robeson and Locust Street.
Yes.
It's New England Pizza. They've been closed for some time due to a fire. They're coming back soon.
Yeah, they had a fire at that location at 345 Robeson Street. The fire took place in September of 2024. And recently, they've started remodeling. The shop is run by two business partners. They also own Boston Pizza and Seafood in the city's south end. That's located on Tucker Street. That's still in operation, and they've been doing takeout for the whole city from that location. But they plan to reopen New England Pizza on Robeson Street in the next couple of weeks, from what I'm told, after some interior renovations, and they're happy to be back at that location.
All right, and we're happy to have Kevin with us every week. Kevin, thank you for joining us. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Keith.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Environmental Manager, Republic Services, located at 1080 Airport Road, seeks a full-time environmental manager, responsible for the preparation of the landfill budget, managing all spending for the engineering department, and overseeing all personnel. Job number 222-52686. Delivery driver, AutoZone, located at 870 North Main Street, is looking for a full-time delivery driver to drive the delivery vehicle to transport parts to commercial customers. Job number 222-46256. Adult Day Health Van Driver, Family Service Association, located at 151 Rock Street, is seeking a part-time adult day health van driver, responsible for safely transporting program participants to and from the Adult Day Health Program site. Job number 222-43110. Nurse Practitioner, CVS Health, located at 1620 President Avenue, is looking for a full-time nurse practitioner. For more information, call 508-672-2403. Atlantis Charter School, located at 991 Jefferson Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. After-school program instructor. Job number 222-56377. Special education substitute teacher. Job number 222-56378. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The Greater Fall River Domestic Violence Coalition Mayor Paul Coogan and Bristol County District Attorney Tom Quinn commemorated White Ribbon Day, a movement against gender-based violence.
The White Ribbon serves as a visible commitment to fostering a culture of respect, equality, and nonviolence. While progress has been made, the urgency of this cause remains. Every act of violence prevented, every conversation started, and every pledge taken brings us closer to a world where safety and dignity are the norm for all.
This fall, Bristol Community College will be the first community college in Massachusetts to offer an associate's degree in artificial intelligence. Dr. Stephen Frechette, chair of the college's Computer Information Systems program and associate professor of cybersecurity, says the fully online program will be of interest to businesses exploring how the use of AI can benefit their bottom line.
So community partners and workforces and businesses in general are trying to understand what AI means for them. What impact will it have on the products and services that they deliver to their consumers and to their customers? And so they are going to be looking to hire people that have some understanding of the tool sets that can help deliver efficiency, more productivity, and more value to their workforce. I think a person who graduates from a discipline with a background in AI will be more valuable than, say, a person who graduates with just the background in the discipline. So AI plus your discipline will be a real game changer for a lot of students.
Dr. Frechette says the program will be project-based, with students earning practical experience in understanding the transformative role AI can play in society.
Best type of student to succeed in this program would be a student that has some background in computers, has some foundational skills in math. There is a math component to this, and we do prescribe math as part of the program. There is some courses in statistics. Artificial intelligence is largely about statistical probabilities. And so a student that has those capabilities, has some computer knowledge, has a foundation in mathematics, will thrive in this program.
Those currently employed with a computer science background can take advantage of Bristol's AI certificate program that builds upon the skills they already possess. With AI being a polarizing topic where people fall on the side either in favor or opposed to its implementation, the college is prepared to include those debates within the curriculum.
Each one of our classes has a component of ethical considerations built into the curriculum. So we may discuss an entire class on machine learning, but toward the end of the class, there will be a couple of lectures and a couple of modules about the ethical considerations of the solutions produced with said machine learning modules. So each class has that concern. There is certainly has to be a conversation about ethical and responsible use about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, as it develops, will have a certain amount of agency that has a risk to replace certain types of human thinking. So it's up to us to teach our students to ask important questions as they're learning their discipline.
Dr. Frechette says so far, interest in the program is strong, with the college receiving over 50 inquiries from prospective students. How the program evolves with the technology is anyone's guess.
We've designed the learning outcomes of each individual class, the 6 core classes, to be malleable, so that we would have the ability to shape the assignments and the curriculum in accordance to the direction of the technology. I think the opportunities for expansion are going to be there. I'm not sure that they're totally known right now, but I do think that there is going to be opportunities for new ways to think about how we do business, how we work as human beings, and I think AI will play an important role in that. And as that role becomes more crystallized, we will adjust our curriculum accordingly.
You can find more information about Bristol's AI degree program by visiting bristolcc.edu/AI. We will wrap up this edition of FRC Media News after this.
Hello and welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. This week we have a room full of kittens. Most of these guys are from our last Puerto Rico transport that we just got in. We got a couple different types of varying ages here. We have Tinsel, who is a tabby. That's going to be the one down there. He's 23 weeks old. We got a couple 6 months old in here, 7 months old, 8 months old. So pretty good range if you're looking for a kitten on the older side. These guys are still very playful for being on the older side of kittens. Don't let the 8 months fool you. They still have plenty of energy. Very loving, very playful, very outgoing. As you can see, they all do really well with other cats as they're all in here in a free roaming room together, and they've been really great together. They are kittens, so as long as you have a cat savvy dog, we do think that they probably would be okay with dogs. They are young enough to warm up eventually. I think they do really good in just about any kind of home.
Today we have Ranger. He's a 3-year-old Great Dane mix. He's right around 83 pounds. He was a surrender. Doesn't know any cues at the moment, but he is still fairly young, so I'm sure he could pick up on them if you actually work with him on it. We recommend kids 12 and up with him just because of his size. We don't want him pushing around any younger, smaller kids, and we also aren't super aware of his background, so we just want to be careful with that as well. Because of his size, we do recommend you owning your own home if you're going to apply for him. If you have a fenced-in yard, that's a plus. So if you'd like to come down and meet Ranger, come on down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River at Forever Paws Animal Shelter, or you can take a look at our website at foreverpaws.com. We also have applications on there. We know that Ranger would love to meet you guys, and we'd love for you to meet Ranger.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Visit our website at frmedia.org for more local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. on Channel 95 or the 4 HD channel located on Channel 1072. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.